Welcome to Monday Morning Dharma on October 27th. Let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. For the mountain, everything is an object of meditation. Balanced, grounded, and stable. With ancient wisdom awareness, with ancient Zen awareness. I'd like you to please bring to mind someone in your life, someone with whom you are close, who is experiencing emotional suffering, physical suffering, or both. I'd like you now to imagine that this person is seated in the space in front of you, facing you, with their eyes at the level of your eyes. Compassion is a loving wish to free another from their suffering. Of all virtuous states of mind, compassion is supreme. So for the next few moments, I'd like you to please just rest in your heart of compassion. The heart of compassion that is an innate part of who you are. How wonderful it would be if this being could be completely free of that which ails them more than anything else in the entire world, without expectation of an outcome. I wish for this now. No doing is required for this meditation. Nothing needs to be added. All that is asked of you is to rest in your heart of compassion. How wonderful it would be if this person could be completely free of their affliction. Just rest in your heart of compassion. Reacquaint yourself with your true nature. So powerful, pure, and unconditional is your heart of compassion that light rays start to radiate from your body in all directions, including into the space in front of you. This clear light touches the person who is your object of meditation and envelops them completely. As a result of your compassionate giving, there is a marked change in the appearance of the person in the space in front of you. Their color is better. There's a look of deep, deep relief, just as though they've been relieved of the weight of the world from their shoulders. They enjoy inner and outer freedom. They enjoy inner and outer peace. You can know that your own peace and freedom are not separate from the peace and freedom of the person in the space in front of you. So for the last couple of moments of this meditation, I'd like you to please just rest and share in this peace and freedom with the person in the space in front of you. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you are occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you are occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of limitless space beyond the blue skies. And we dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation and Dharma talk to world peace. May all beings, without exception, be completely and permanently freed from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings, without exception, enjoy inner and outer peace. May they enjoy inner and outer freedom. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. So, I had been looking forward all weekend to talking with you guys about compassion. Um, and in my morning reading, I'm reading this book about a Buddhist saint from a long time ago who I'd never heard of, Vimalakirti, and he has a profound view of the middle way, Guide to the Middle Way, which we can talk about another time. But it's super profound and super revolutionary, really, in terms of his view about, emptiness and phenomena and everything else, and just kind of like some Buddhist teachings, just sort of like mind blowing. And he says, none of this has any meaning. None of what I'm putting in front of you, presenting to you, all of its profundity, all of its potential for wisdom, all of its potential transcendence. He said, none of it has any meaning unless it's coupled with compassion. Yeah. And so it is for any practice, I think. Any spiritual practice, maybe even any life practice, doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. And we might think, well, wait a minute, there's what about this entity called love? That seems pretty important too, right? Well, the cool thing about compassion is that love is embodied in compassion. The definition of compassion is a loving wish for another to be free from their suffering. Compassion, as you know, being the wish for another to be free from their suffering. Love, an unconditional wish for another to be happy or for others to be happy. So, one-stop shopping with compassion, and as virtuous minds go, you know. And that's sort of those thoughts come from my reading this morning of Vimalakirti. Um, what I was going to share with you, what I've been looking forward to all weekend sharing with you, is an appeal for you to please, to the extent that you haven't already, pick an object of compassion and like claim it and hold on to it and practice it. Just deepen, deepen, deepen. you know, objects, plural, objects of compassion are nice too. And to the extent that your practice of compassion might need a little pick me up, or you don't really even have a practice of compassion, at least not consciously, pick one object, like a person or, an animal. I find animals to be easy objects of compassion, to have loving concern for them, for them to be free from happiness. Animals, plural, a particular type of animal. Every often when I'm riding to 7 a.m. meditation at Lotus Center, I go down Market Street. Sorry, Teddy, you probably don't know where this is, but coming down Market Street toward downtown at, I don't know, quarter to 7 or something, and there are deer running across the road often, have to keep my eyes open. Maybe the deer in that neighborhood could be my object of compassion and think about them and hope for them to have plenty of food and water and not, not be hit by cars or mad bicyclists. So, anyways, that's what I was looking forward to sharing with you all weekend. So, we're going to come down the home stretch of In Love with the World. And Yongey Mingyur, when we last checked in, Yongey Mingyur, no money, no place to stay, begging his food from the back of a kitchen, um, sleeping. Um, I shouldn't say nowhere to stay. I hereby retract that. He's staying at the park at Varanasi, the park which was created to honor the passing of the Buddha. It said that the Buddha died at this place. They created a park. Sleeping in the bushes is Yongey Mingyur's new home. That's the place where he stays. Um, as you might imagine, put, a pot full of leftover dal sitting on a counter isn't the most sanitary way and most helpful way to, keep food that you feed to the sadhus. Yet that's what Yongey Mingyur was eating. He got food poisoning, really, really sick, really, really sick, like he's dying. Remember the subtitle of the book, What a Monk Can Teach You About Living from Nearly Dying? Yongey Mingyur is going through the death process. Yep, slowly. And for those of you reading the book, you know that he provides it in very explicit detail, not grotesque detail, but yeah, doesn't leave anything out. I want to back up and tell you a little bit about Buddhist doctrine. There are in the four schools of Tibetan Buddhism, and within these four schools of Tibetan Buddhism, there are three paths. There is the Hinayana path, Hinayana being a Sanskrit word, which translated literally means lesser vehicle. Yana, vehicle, Hina, lesser vehicle. I don't like how it translates, so I think of it as primary vehicle. The Hinayana is a beautiful, beautiful, profound path, and to think of it as lesser, even though that's not what's intended in the translation, I prefer primary vehicle, primary vehicle. Mahayana, great vehicle. And by the way, the objective, if you will, for lack of a better term, of the Hinayana is to attain a state of complete and permanent liberation. The objective or end game of the Mahayana path, complete enlightenment. What's the difference between complete liberation and complete enlightenment? Don't have time to explain it. Just know that one, the Mahayana, the great vehicle, is has a hand in glove relationship with bodhicitta. Bodhicitta, the motivation to become fully awakened for the benefit of all beings. It's sort of a greater aspiration, just as measured by numbers of people that are to benefit from this. I'm seeking to attain complete awakening for the sake of all beings without exception. Great, great universe of beneficiaries, great intention, great vehicle, Mahayana. Okay. The third vehicle called Vajrayana, also synonymous with Tantra. Tantra and Vajrayana, these terms are interchangeable. Lots of different features to the Vajrayana, which someday we'll go into, don't have time for that either. But what I want to tell you about the Vajrayana is that one of the main practices, at least in my training in the Kadampa school, okay, in the Kadampa school, one of the main practices is practicing death. Practice death over and over and over. Some people practice it multiple times a day. And you sort of go through like this dress rehearsal where we go through the appearances to mind that come up as our various body elements start to cease and dissolve. So earth, like the earth element, it's said that as we are dying, really important stuff here, you guys, as we are dying, the first element to cease is the earth element. And concurrent with the ceasing of the earth element is what is referred to as mirage-like appearance. Like you have the appearance as you're dying of mirages, like a mirage happening. The next element to go is the water element, and the appearance to mind is smoke-like appearances. Okay, there are other appearances for the two other elements, and then after that, other stuff happens and other stuff happens. You rehearse your death process and you rehearse your rebirth process. You are reborn as a fully enlightened Buddha. This is like the rehearsal of the death process. Amazing, amazing stuff. How do they think of this stuff? Rehearse your death process so that when your body is actually ceasing, you'll know what to do. You'll know what to look for. You'll know how to let it flow, maybe guide it, keep it between the lines, right? To affect this particular rebirth. Friends, Yongey Mingyur, in his book, as he was dying and actually died, came back to say, it's exactly how the Vajrayana teaching presents it. That's exactly what happens. He went there, he saw, he had a firsthand experience, and then was able to come back and tell about it. Huge, huge. First person I have ever, or first account that I've ever heard of where the person says, yes, I've been there. It's happened to other people. Other people have experienced it, but they don't talk about it, right? There's this sort of code of silence for your reason. I'm making up that the application of that term, code of silence. I don't think they're conspiring to keep it from anybody, right? But you just don't talk about stuff like that because people won't understand and they'll get confused. But here's Yongey Mingyur in a gesture of a bodhisattva, I would say, says, I was there, I experienced it. It's exactly like they teach it in the Vajrayana. And it's just like, wow. So Yongey Mingyur doesn't die, okay? He wakes up after this experience, after sleeping hours and hours, days, wakes up in a hospital bed in India, lots of poor people in India that don't have health insurance. So not everybody is admitted into a hospital when they're deathly ill. Yet Yongey Mingyur, a sadhu with no money, is lying in a hospital bed. He says, like, who paid for this? Who paid for me to get me in the hospital? He looks over next to his bed. It's the businessman who Yongey Mingyur met in the park. I don't know, Tama, I don't think you were with us at this time, but there's a point earlier in the story where Yongey Mingyur is meditating in the park where commemorating the death site of the Buddha. A businessman comes up to him and says, "Are you a monk?" "Yes." "Can you teach me how to meditate?" Yongey Mingyur says, "Yes." The businessman came, found out he was sick, or, oh no, I'm sorry. The businessman found Yongey Mingyur as he's dying in the bushes, takes him to the hospital, has him admitted, says, "I'll pay for everything." That's how Yongey Mingyur survives and is able to tell, and that's essentially the end of the story. Yeah. So, sorry, total spoiler alert for Tama, who just bought the book a couple of days. Um, so we've got one more class at least one more scheduled class that we're going to talk about In Love with the World. That will be this Friday, and then we'll move on to another topic, kind of basically whichever topic we decide to move to. I sent out an email. I've received a couple of responses, just asking, where would you guys like to go next in terms of what we do with our Monday and Friday mornings? So if you didn't receive that email for whatever reason, let me know. I'll send it to you. If you have been playing all weekend and staying away from computers, good, good, well done. Take a moment sometime this week if you would and check your email and let me know what you think. Okay. Thank you, friends.
Thank you.
Most welcome. Welcome back, Tina.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.